Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another Missing Lynx post-game podcast live stream thing. Said we were going to go at 3 p.m., but as my life has led me to believe, only nerds show up on time. So it's 3:11. I say that because 3:11, April 12th, a lot could happen by the time this gets posted or even by the time this pod is done, because the Lynx are making some news, but I figured what the heck, we'll hop on, crash outs, cope, whatever it is. And Terry Horstman was nice enough to come with me. How's it going, man?
Hey, it's going good. You know, it's probably the nicest day in Minneapolis of the year. So perfect day to just be inside addicted
podcasting
to the group chats and different, streams and insiders across the league and just wait for good things to happen. And I think a lot of Lynx fans probably feel like they're still waiting for that. So hopefully getting outside a bit after this, but happy to be here. Happy to chat all things W right now.
Well, I just kind of felt like we had enough moves to talk about, and also
we do. We've got a lot to talk about, and I'm glad we're not doing this at 1 a.m. this time.
Yeah, I mean that. Thank you for the. I think we're up to like 750 views on YouTube. Like, appreciate all the people who turned in for a not even a breaking. I didn't even market it as a breaking news podcast. That was just 8 people talking hoops for 90 minutes. But I mean, we'll start off with kind of the one that I think stings not the most. I mean, we haven't really talked publicly since the Atlanta Smith signing. I think that one's probably from a like how the Lynx game plan and play stings the most.
Yes.
But I was pretty confident that Dejanay was coming back to the Lynx. I mean, literally as of 11 a.m. this morning, I was at Wolves shoot around and like Wolves reporters, people in the building, like it seemed like Dejanay was going to be returning, but she shocked everyone taking a 1-year deal with Chicago. I mean, what was your first reaction? You are the chief president of the Dejanay fan club, after all.
Yeah, and it's the thing that hurts the most is I will no longer be able to make fun of the Chicago Sky, because even though there are some baffling moves still on their resume of this offseason, I posted this on Blue Sky recently. Like, man, the Chicago Sky are cool as hell. Just from a player to player. There's a lot to watch there, a lot to be excited about. I don't know how it's going to work long term, but someone posted in our the 9 Sports thing, Dejanay Carrington took links out of her Instagram bio, and I never read too much into those things, and had heard the reports that Dejanay coming back was going to be made official today, and that turned out not to be the case. So maybe there was just a number that the Lynx weren't going to go above, something south of 1 million. And Dejanay's agent got $1 million out of Chicago. And, that's kind of the nature of this is you go where you go where the bag is. And a lot of players getting that bag, I think will probably have similar reactions to just about all of the deals on a case-by-case basis. But when you add them all together, man, that's a lot of production from last year's team on its way out. It's a lot of players who had cultivated really great relationships with the fans on their way out. It's just the dark underbelly of a salary cap spike, and I think Lynx fans are feeling it right now, and I don't blame them for feeling that way.
Yeah, I mean the Nay part, Eddie asks in the chat, how long will she be out for? I was led to believe that she had a similar injury to Carly Samuelson, like maybe not the same metatarsal foot bone or whatever that broke, but a similar foot type surgery that would take months and months to recover. I haven't heard anything since the Lynx season ended, but at the time of their season ending, it was like anywhere between 6 and 10 months is usually the recovery time is what I had been told. That puts her anywhere between May on the best case scenario. She's ready, close to the beginning of the season, all the way out to like the All-Star break, which that's if you're Cheryl and you're going to designate 15% of your cap to a player that is only going to be a 1-year deal and could be out until the All-Star, considering the fee injury as well, like that's I think that's the thing that has been confounding for me is as these deals have rolled out, like Dejanay's deal, like I'm not going to argue with Cheryl. Like, I think that's a fiscally responsible decision. I don't think it's like A-Rod and Lori are telling her not to spend. I think Cheryl's looking at it of like, do I want to spend $1 million on a second player that's going to be on the shelf until maybe June? Like,
sure.
Fair. I think you look at the T contract, like that's starting point guard money for a gal that was a backup last year and would be a backup this year. Like, fair. I don't hate passing on T. Jess is making $1 million a year for the next 3 years. Like that as well is like fair. All right.
Isn't it more than that? It's like 1.1 or 1.2 average, right?
It's 1.1 that or 1.2. Like that's even more like, all right, fair. I get it. Like that. Okay. Makes sense. Lan getting a max. Like Lan is really important here. I thought Lan would be the second highest paid player on the Lynx if she came back. I don't think she's a max contract player. Like that's especially for 3 seasons. Like that has the potential to age poorly if she doesn't fit with the Wings. Like none of those deals I'm upset about individually. I think it's just the jarring fact that all of them happened where it's like only 3 of the top 9 are going to be returning next year.
Right. And then combine that with not getting to the finish line with Nneka Ogwumike or Gabby Williams. Which is, I get it, but they don't hand out trophies in the offseason for a reason. We make metaphorical offseason championship banners for teams a lot. If you're any Minnesota Vikings fans are listening to this, you are well familiar with that concept. And so, I get it. I'm looking at the wing depth as of now and like, okay, who can they bring in? Does this change strategy for the draft tomorrow night or anything? But yeah, I'm not going to question, the greatest coach in the professional sports history. So there's more to come. And I think you got to wait until you see that full roster reporting to training camp on April 19th to get the full opinion. But of course, that's just not how free agency works in any sport. We have to react now. we have to know why someone went where and why all these players are saying no to Minnesota. So I get it. But yeah, I think there's still some patience left. I've talked myself into it a little bit. But we'll see. The available threes on the market it's maybe the shortest list of all the positions. So I'm not totally sure what they're going to do there. But that's why I'm not making the decisions.
Yeah. And again, like to your point, Cheryl's, I mean, it's a fact. Like she is kind of the GOAT of coaching at this point, right. Statistically, championship wise, like she just, I'm not going to question it. And I do on a case by case basis, agree with every one of the choosings of like, hey, let's let these people move on. It's a very financially responsible decision on all of those. And the 2 players that they bring in that we're going to talk about here. I mean, Natasha Howard, I didn't see what her total money is yet, but I 2-year deal. I'm guessing she's not getting a max.
It sounds like 1.4 is the total. So
700,000. Like, yeah. I would rather have Natasha Howard for 700,000 than Lan at 1.3. Like, I just
sure. So you're cutting the salary in half a little bit. That one's harder to talk myself into just because, I mean, money, especially in this whole thing, like it's not our money. So it's like so hypothetical.
Yep.
But when you're think of it in terms of salary cap percentage, and Howard, is older. I mean, Lynx fans are well familiar with her. I think she low-key had a great year last year and did a lot for an indie team that overachieved, and they leaned on her a lot too with all of the injuries that they had. She's not going to add much in terms of outside shooting, but just a really smart defender for both on ball and off ball.
Maybe the better comp was Jessica Shepard, because I don't think she's going to be the starting 4 or 5, but like Shep gets 1.1. I would rather pay Howard $400,000.
Well, I'm guessing Howard's going to be starting a lot at the beginning of the year, regardless of what. I mean, we will probably see an opening night lineup of Natasha, Howard, and Dorka. So we'll see. But just of the type of player that does a lot of things right and a lot of things that don't really show up in box scores, has played for Cheryl before. And yeah, not the type of move that's going to get anyone out of their seats going crazy, but it's a lot of, shrewd moves that make up championship rosters, important depth pieces. So I don't think there's one move out there that's going to make Lynx fans go from despair to, oh, we won free agency. But this is just a competent, helpful addition. And I think, I'm going back and just like, Nikias Duncan had reshared a great thread he had on just the importance that Howard had to Indy last year. And I went through that. I'm going to try and watch some more. We mentioned earlier, I'm probably not going to sit and run tape on a day like this. That's, the nicest day, the nicest April day in Minneapolis history.
The history of Minneapolis.
The history of Minneapolis, for sure. But so, yeah, I think it's a nice signing. And I think these are the types of moves that, there'll be some teams in salary cap hell next year, 2 years later, and 3 years later. And maybe like you can just imagine Cheryl cackling at that. And maybe it's not due to any of these Lynx players. But there's so much unknown, especially like we don't know proper market value with this new CBA yet. And I think the wise teams are trying not to do is have a bunch of money tied up in future years so that they can adjust. So I think it's a good value. Again, don't start planning that route down Nicollet Mall quite yet, but I think it makes a lot of sense.
I think it's a competent big, like you said, that is going to fit well with Cheryl. Like they have a relationship. I think kind of like in the playoffs when all of Indiana was hurt, like she was playing well. Like,
right.
I don't, can she,
there was a time where people thought like, oh my God, are the Fever going to make it to the WNBA finals after that game 1 win against the Aces? And Natasha Howard was a big part of why.
Like, can she play 100% of the games and play like that every night? Like, no, she is 34. Like, I think she's turning 35 this season. Like it just realistically, probably not. But if you get to the playoffs, that's somebody that even if you're a 5 or 6 seed, I think you're feeling really good about being a backup big with a returning fee. The signing I kind of like more though is Nia Coffey coming over from Atlanta.
Right.
There's a world where she's just good and it's been a bad fit. Like she was a 40% 3-point shooter last year with the Sparks, like borderline all-star-y type of player, goes to Atlanta. Her minutes get cut every season and she just kind of gets knocked out of the rotation. Like this to me just has the Cheryl Reeve reclamation project written all over it. I think this is going to be one next year, probably end of this season, that people are going to be looking at like, oh, Cheryl just kind of did it again. Took somebody for a 2-year vet min and turned them into a sixth player of the year or a starting 3 for them, which a lot of risk in this one in terms of like, if she doesn't pan out, like I'll phrase it this way, not a lot of risk financially. Like if she doesn't pan out, it's a vet minimum. I think you move on with your life. But if she doesn't, like on the court wise, if she's just nothing, like you said, the wing position for the Lynx consists of just K-Mac and Ola, I guess. Maybe. What's your Coffey take though?
Well, I like Coffey. I think she's dependable for that became part of a rotation in Atlanta for really competent Atlanta team. I always feel like it's kind of the eye test makes me think she's a better 3-point shooter than the numbers actually suggest. But, always love to see a homegrown product come back to Minnesota. I think she'll help. Not to hijack anything, but Van Shea pointed this out a few minutes ago. Shout out to Van Shea Murdoch. And yeah, can confirm.
We refer to him as Emmy award winning
Emmy
Van Shea Murdoch.
Apologies, Emmy award winning Van Shea Murdoch. Per Kareem Copeland, now at ESPN, formerly the Washington Post, Czech duo Aliska Hamzova and Emma Chekova have signed with the Lynx. Now, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on the Czechia national team, but a couple international signings. All but confirmed.
Guaranteed.
There's no numbers in Kareem's posts yet. That was about half an hour ago. And yeah, Lynx fans go crazy. I'll post this in the names in the chat so you get the spellings right. Please let me know as I try to remain undefeated in the pronunciation Olympics. So if I got the pronunciations wrong, please let me know. That is a source of pride. So couple players to research. This is always fun. So I'm going to, once it lets me join the chat, Jesus, this is cumbersome. StreamYard. I'll be there at some point, so I'll post that. But you can, I'm sure everyone here is following Kareem Copeland, so you can find the post, and I expect everyone to have a graduate level dissertation on Aliska Hamzova and Emma Chekova by this time tomorrow. We're talking to Cheryl
Monday
about
afternoon.
I hope Cheryl's ready for an hour-long media availability after the draft, because I'm going to come in.
I'm going to be honest, we kind of need one, because we're not going to be able to talk to her again until media day, and then you have all the TVs and all of the people there.
Yeah,
like I kind of expect a longer media session where we can just, hey, so
right there's might be one other one on the books that we can't talk about now, but we'll have some good content sometime during training camp, I believe,
at some point.
Yes.
Okay, Terry, back to Miss Coffey. Competent player, and then news broke. So I do want to get your thoughts on it still.
Yeah, it's another thing with above. Correct me if I'm wrong. Last from Kendra Andrews, I saw that was above the veteran min, but not more specific than that. Usually that wording means it's not like a max is above the veteran min. A super max is above the veteran min. It's probably not too much above the veteran minimum. So that's another one. Like, I get it. Everyone's out playing fantasy basketball right now, and you want your team to make the splashiest moves, but that cupboard, there's great deals to be made. I mentioned this on Lynx Happy Hour yesterday, like in an auction fantasy draft where every single time, no matter what the sport is or whatever, you are just getting players for $1 deals because everyone else, kind of blew their cash allotment early on. And, you can miss out on players that way. Like, look, the Lynx have missed out on their the two priorities in NECA and Gabby. But if there's a nice deal to be made, then you got to make it. So I think Nia Coffey fits a lot. And I don't know how impactful it will be, but again, more front court depth to navigate the waters that you have to navigate without fee at the beginning of the season. You can't, not to quote Moneyball right now, but you can recreate her in the aggregate, as Brad Pitt, as Billy Bean said. I don't know if Billy Bean ever actually said that exactly. You can't just get okay, we'll plug this player in for fee for 2 months or 3 months, or hopefully less than that. Sorry, Lynx fans, to trauma dump here, but and then we'll be fine. But you can get Natasha Howard, who does this, and Nia Coffey, who does this, and there's definitely going to be more moves to be made. Obviously, a number 2 pick for them to do something with tomorrow night. So yeah, I don't think it's anything to start camping out on Nicollet Mall about, but let's not pretend like we don't know that these moves matter. Like, you look at every single championship team throughout history, there are moves like this that precede that. So hopefully they are. And yeah, I'm excited to have the Hopkins grad back home.
Yeah, I, again, don't plan a parade route. I'm not trying to be a super optimist, because I do think New York, Vegas, honestly, like the Sparks are going to be a ton of fun. Dallas is going to be a ton of fun. Chicago might be good. Indiana is going to be good. Like, I don't think this is a Lynx team.
I don't know if Chicago will be good. Chicago will be cool. There's a difference. I'm banking on Chicago being cool. I don't know if
someone run the tape back. My eye might have twitched when I said Chicago is going to be good, but like
they'll be tough. They'll for sure be tough at least.
Yeah. I do think this Lynx team, as currently constructed with what we know is there, and if Fee comes back and is playing, like, even if Fee plays half the games, like she comes back and they kind of injury management or whatever they choose to do, like I still think this is going to be a fun playoff team. And then it's like, if Fee is back to 100% by the time you get to the playoffs, you have the second best player in the league. Like, I don't think it should be as doom and gloom as some group chats that I'm in, but also, like, it is going to be like, this isn't going to be the best regular season team in the history of basketball this season.
Something to look forward to for sure. Someone in the national media is going to publish a preseason power rankings, and they're going to put the Lynx at like 13th. And Cheryl's response to that will be just appointment content, and we'll get to touch base on it throughout the year. To my colleagues in the media, I'm not saying you have to overrate the Lynx just for that, but anytime they've been put below like the league average, even you don't really hear the end of it, and it also ends up being incorrect. So this, keep an eye out for that. We might do a power rankings tracker at Hitting the Hardwood when it's all said and done. I think that would be
actually kind of fun, getting like an aggregate of all the power rankings, and just preferably if ESPN could rank them like 9th. I think that would
that's what before 2024, it was Michael Vopel, the great Michael Vopel at ESPN, who ranked them 9th, and also pretty soon into the season admitted that he had missed the mark on the Lynx by a mile. But also, we're the ones going every day, meeting in person, and it's like, the media said we were 9th, and I was like, for the record, in mine, I had you as 4th. All right, as 4th, and I wanted to put it higher, but I didn't want to be a homer. So I fully look forward to us bearing the brunt of whoever has that power ranking prediction, but that will be a fun, just running joke throughout the season when it inevitably happens.
I will be happy to bear that brunt, because the content of passive aggressively annoyed Cheryl Reeve does really well on social media. So if again, ESPN, if you want to rank them like maybe even 11th, like that would be great for my career. I will not be doing that, because I think they're going to be fine. Like, again, beginning of the season, no Fee, a lot of new players, like it's going to be rocky, but I think around All-Star break towards the end of the season, like this could be a team that still gets to like a 5 seed and then wins a round in the playoffs. And then you're an ankle sprain away. I mean, the Mercury were kind of in that position last year, where it's like they get hot after the All-Star break, they weasel their way into the playoffs, Fee blows out an ankle, and then all of a sudden you're in the finals. Like, and then it's just, you got a chance, which that's kind of how these things go. Like I think the Aces last year, I think you can look at their finals run and be like, well, New York was injured all season, so we never really got to see them. The Lynx petered out at the end. Like, a championship is a championship, but like, I think you got to get really lucky to make it that far, which Nate Pence chimes in at Atlanta is a team we need to worry about. Yeah, Atlanta's going to suck to play.
They're gonna be so good.
It's just gonna, and they play like modern basketball too, where it's just a crap ton of threes and like really good defense. Like that's gonna suck. I don't want to see I don't want to see Atlanta more than I have to, which, not many people are going to be able to see them. There's a 3,000 seat venue down there.
They've got to move more game. I know they've already moved some to the Hawks Arena. I've got more a little bit on Emma Chekova, if we can talk our new world saving Czech duo.
Before we get into the world saving Czech duo, though, because we have a sponsor in the chat, I should probably say that we're going to take an ad read and then we'll get into Czech duo. I also do want to get your thoughts just off season as a whole. And then just, I guess, in memoriam for the Power of Friendship team that all chose money over friendship. But first ads.
Which is what you should.
Well, hello. Thank you, Livestream Andrew. This is Ad Read Andrew. And today we have Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, the presenting sponsor for the Missing Lynx podcast. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling strives to inspire people to follow their ideas, working with respect and understanding to create a quality, tailored result. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, located in Blaine and serving in the North Metro area, is here to help you with your building and remodeling needs. I can say personally, thanks to Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, I have a beautiful deck in my backyard and countless projects that I started, they finished. Get started on your new deck or remodel today by calling Isaac at 763-710-5686. And we're back with another ad read, this time for Pence Homes, the presenting sponsor of Hitting the Hardwood Network. From the best tools and technology to transparency throughout the entire process, Nate Pence and the Pence Homes team is the top choice for buyers, sellers, and is proud to support you and your home ownership goals. Get started today by calling 612-308-1122 or by emailing info@pencehomes.com. I do want to just say Ryan Co. Anyways, I understand they don't have a starting small forward right now. Fee is going to be out for half a season.
No. We talked about
that.
They
do have the second overall pick. They do have two all-stars in Court and K-Mac. They have former all-star Allen Howard. That's something. And Cheryl is just kind of proven that she's going to make the play. She's just a good coach. They're gonna make the playoffs. I don't know, I'll shave my head if they don't. Whatever obligatory bet that you guys want me to make that isn't monetarily because I do need to pay my mortgage. That's what the Lynx do. It's 2 years in Lynx history since Cheryl that they haven't made the playoffs. They have enough talent still. They're just not a championship caliber team as constructed right now. Terry, what intel do you have on these lovely, are they Czech players? Czechoslovakian?
Czechia is the name of the,
is that what they're called?
Well, Czechs would be, they're Czechs from Czechia.
Former USSR players.
Who helped their team qualify for the 2026 World Cup this September. Emmett Chikova, specifically 6'5" center on the World Cup qualifying tournaments, All-Star 5, about north of 14 and 6 per game in those in that qualifying tournament. That's what I have. Anyone else could have found that on FIBA.com themselves, but so more, center depth, and yeah, obviously the Lynx aren't done, so I think the three will be addressed. There's not going to not be a 3 on this team. And we'll see who that ends up being. But there's still some names out there that we can get into if you want to, Andrew. I know you wanted to keep this at around 30 minutes. We'll have
we're gonna blow by it.
Plenty of more time to speculate on things. But I trust the international scouting as well, and I think that might be kind of the pivot here. So
I think what I've appreciated about the moves this offseason is, one, all of them are for 2 years. So if Fee's out this season and this season is a disaster, all of these people are signed for 2 years. They'll have a full season with Fee and whatever they do next offseason. This year's second overall pick will be a year older. There's a lot of things that I think that you can look at and be all right, I don't think they're punting and looking for a draft pick this season, but there's things to say okay, it's a 2-year window that they're kind of looking at right now. And again, you sign a couple international players. If they end up being good, awesome. You got a rotation player that's ready to go now. And if they end up kind of being nothing, it's a very low, I would assume it's vet minimum or something near that. And you just kind of pivot off of them, which, right. Low risk again. I before we get into in memoriam, Any feelings on the draft next year, given the signings today?
Next year?
This year?
Well, I think it'll be up to what Dallas does. Now, I heard maybe early yesterday that the feeling around the league is that Kurt still hadn't made a decision on number one. And then they signed all of the bigs, including the ones from the Lynx. I don't really see them taking Awa Fam now. And
I don't either.
So I think Fam is in play for the Lynx. I think Betts is in play. I think the Wings might go Olivia Miles. And
really,
then you've got a decision to make if you are the Lynx. Well, I think a true point guard is, because they want to move Paige off ball a bit as well, and just how fun would that be if you're Olivia Miles? Just feed Paige, feed Enrique, dump it down to one of the 1,000 bigs that are on that team now. And, I think Jose Fernandez seems like an intriguing head coach, especially with a group of young players. So let's say in Terry's live mock draft right now, the Wings go Miles, and screw it. Let's go Awa Fam.
I've been pretty on brand of I think Awa Fam is the best player in this draft, and Dallas will draft her, not them. They're paying a third of their salary cap to Shep and Land. Like, use the number one overall pick to get another center. Like, that's obnoxious.
Right. And well, the good thing about the Lynx is anyone they draft, they've got a spot to plug them into.
Yes, they do.
If you, everyone's chanting for AZ, and AZ's been my pick the whole up to this, but I think Fam might be too special to pass up on. But AZ gives you a starting three.
I have said AZ at every mock draft, everything. I have said AZ until last night when Jess and Lan went to Dallas, because I just assumed Dallas would take Fam. Like, she's rumored to be 6'5", 6'6". I don't know why it's rumored. No. She's officially listed at 6'4".
No one's ever what they're listed.
No, but she's literally like a hyper athletic 6'4" that does have 3-point range.
Yeah. And
she's 19. Like, if this is a year that Fee's going to miss half the season, like, get that. Like, just draft that and then see what happens. That's who I think they go with. Especially, Dorca's a little bit of an unknown. I don't think she's officially said she's coming back yet.
Not officially, but I think she is.
And like, she's had a really good she's EuroLeague campaign.
She's a finalist for MVP for EuroLeague women. Like, that's
like, I think you're feeling really good with that. You have Howard start the season, like you said, and integrate Fee in. And then if you have Fam just kind of getting minutes behind all of them learning like that, I don't know how you could pass that up, unless, as everyone in the chat is saying, AZ. Unless it's just, we still believe winning now and we need to get our K-Mac replacement for 2 years from now.
Or trade down with Chicago for their next 10 first-round picks.
They don't value picks.
Right. I don't even know if they probably don't even have any left, but I'm always okay with making a trade with Chicago. I said I wasn't going to make fun of them anymore, and here I go. But yeah, if you're sitting there at the number 2 pick and Fam's on the board and Fudd's on the board and Betts is on the board, that is a hard thing to sell the fan base, that you traded out of that spot to draft like Kiki Rice, who I think is going to be brilliant. But yeah, it's just, you better be getting a nice return for that. But also, the optics are the optics.
Which I do think there is a case, if you're the Lynx, where you could go from the 2 to like 4 or 5, like you were saying 5 with Chicago. And you can say, like, let's say Chicago moves up and they draft a big because they get Fam. They move up for Fam. And then Fudd goes to Seattle and Betts goes 4, or if you trade down to 4, then you just take Betts, I guess, at that point. But there's always the case where you can just say, like, hey, we thought Kiki Rice was the best guard in this draft. She is like battle tested. She's coming off a national championship. She's going to be able to fit a little bit better with Court. She plays really good defense. Like, this is who we wanted, and look at the war chest we got moving down from number 2. Like, I think they will be able to have a sell as long as they get someone that is believable to be like that star. Like, if they go down to 5 and draft like Raven, I love Raven, but if they're moving down to like 4 or 5 and they draft Raven, then it's like,
yeah,
which is the worst position to be in.
I think is the official word of this offseason so far.
Yep.
I think Lynx fans might have a more, choice words, more colorful words. And again, don't blame any of you for that. But I think, is maybe my one-word synopsis of April 2026 so far.
Yeah, it's not how I thought it would play out. I'm going to be honest. I was pretty wrong on especially Land, T, and Dejanay, but they got the bag. Can't hate them. Terry, in memoriam, how will you remember the last 2 years of the Power of Friendship group?
Very fondly. Very fun team to cover. And just a lot of great stories. I think BC, which is probably the most expected one, like BC getting a max salary. That's probably not while on the Minnesota Lynx. But a player who was second round pick caught on with the Lynx, and Cheryl talked about so many just like specific little things that BC did early in her Lynx tenure that like paved the way for her slowly moving further and further up the rotation. And I think it's just a testament to development, to patience, and then personally for her just to stick with it and grind it out. So it will be very fun to see these players come back at times throughout the year. Smith, man, just being cut multiple times out of the league. Yeah. Thought her WNBA career was over. James Wade convinces her to come back, and then she finds her way over the Lynx in just 2 wonderful seasons, one of which just should have ended a better way. And like I said, I don't the Land coming off a co-defensive player of the year honors at the age she is now, the stock is never going to be higher.
Never.
So
never.
I could see her being priced out of Minnesota, like you meant, like sensibly, as well. But it's still tough to swallow. And both Land and BC, very, very fun to cover. Had the media contingent laughing so often.
Yeah.
I'm sad we won't get grad school updates from Land anymore. Maybe when
is she going for her doctorate? I need to get in touch with Grant.
It's very interesting people. Obviously we didn't get to cover Dejanay for long, but you mentioned me being the card carrying member of the Dejanay Carrington fan club, since her rookie year, basically. Brought so much fun, energy, and of course T.
Yeah.
If we had we've kicked this around, but like a media appreciation award, if we actually went through that and like establishing it and having an award to give to players voted on by the media, T would have gotten it at least one, if not both, of the last 2 years. Yeah. Just for her willingness to deal with us. And we kind of memorialized Masha already, so I don't want to like I'm skating over Masha, but yeah, T always a joy, and it will be fun.
I didn't realize Shep was nearly as funny as she was until the Target shopping spree, where she was talking her partner out of buying a Paige Beckers t-shirt, which ironically they're now teammates. But yeah, Jess, super funny. I mean, I'll miss Jess quite a bit too.
Yeah, Shep is incredibly funny. It was, I was a little bit like quieter, but and did so many things well. I'll remember that triple double in Indy.
Oh yeah,
forever.
I mean, and the breakdown afterwards of just like that's the thing I think with this group I'll miss the most. And I don't know if it's going to be like, it'll just be different, right? Like players change, but like we have a good media group. I think we'll be able to get good content and all that stuff. but like the vulnerability this group kind of showed, whether it was Lan talking about ups and downs, Court, always kind of being a bright spot, but also talking about like how hard it was to get established. Fee, Jess having kind of the emotional breakdown after the triple double. I mean, it was really a group that was willing to kind of be vulnerable with fans, that I think is, especially now covering the Wolves, like it's special when you have a group of players that want to put that out there. So again, I'm not going to fault anyone for grabbing a bag. That is definitely what I would be doing. But hey, it's going to be a weird next year. A lot of new profiles to write.
Yep.
Which you can find over at hittingthehardwood.com. If people haven't checked that out yet, we did launch a website, and we're looking to kind of make a claim on fun Wolves, Lynx, Gophers coverage for, people that are out there wanting more. But Terry, thank you for 41 minutes today. I do appreciate you. Felt like this was a good therapy session for fans, as well as us who have to deal with the shell shock of like, not going to talk to that person anymore. As Dustin says, this is still a disaster. Lynx fans never change. You guys make it all worthwhile.
Again, it is really nice outside today.
It is really nice.
I can't emphasize enough. It is nice out. So
for people who popped in this late, it will get posted up on YouTube and X as soon as I end the stream. It'll come out. I'll probably put it out tonight as a live stream just for people that want it. And then I will be back after the Wolves game, KG night. I think the Wolves are benching 8 starters. So if you're into Julian Phillips minutes,
truly honoring KG with that.
Hey, it's a sellout crowd for a Pelicans game. I think the organization's happy. Anyways, appreciate you all. We'll catch you next time.